The top stories tonight in Y News. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. will participate in the ASEAN-European Union Summit in Brussels next week, expecting to generate billions of investments for the Philippines and hundreds of new jobs for the Filipinos.
A magnitude 5.9 earthquake struck the waters of the coast of northern Samar.
President Marcos Jr. sets to sign the 2023 national budget when he gets back from his official trip in Europe.
And after Elon Musk released a poll late last month, Twitter's general amnesty lead to the restoration of other banned accounts.
The world today is Friday, December 9, 2022. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. I am William Theo.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Hardin Delgado.
First in the news, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. will participate in the ASEAN-European Union Summit in Brussels next week, where he is also expected to hold bilateral meetings and with the EU firms during the visit. Nel Maribuhok reports.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is expected to have at least 10 bilateral meetings on the sidelines of the ASEAN-EU Commemorative Summit in Brussels, Belgium next week. The countries whose leaders the president will talk with are Belgium, Estonia, Czech Republic, Spain, Denmark, Germany, Poland, Finland, the Netherlands, and the European Union.
This intends to expand cooperation between this country, our country, and Belgium in terms of agricultural cooperation and renewable energy. He will also have a bilateral meeting with Estonia in which we can discuss cyber cooperation and a pending extradition treaty.
According to Foreign Affairs Assistant Secretary for ASEAN Affairs Daniel Espiritu, the first participation of President Marcos Jr. at the ASEAN-EU Summit is expected to generate billions of investments for the Philippines as hundreds of new jobs for the Filipinos.
In fact, there will be one-on-one meetings with big corporations who will be expanding their presence in the Philippines. That means more investments and more jobs for us Filipinos.
Among companies he will talk with are consumer goods producer Unilever with 4.7 billion peso expansion of investment in the Philippines. According to Espiritu, the president is also expected to polish deals with ASEA as it is considering building a shipyard in the country with an investment of 1.5 billion pesos. The move, he said, will create around 600 direct and indirect jobs for the Filipinos. PBBM will also meet with leaders of other companies in the renewable energy and food and supply chain sectors. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, we serve the people, we give glory to God.
Some members of progressive groups met with Justice Secretary Crispin Remulla this afternoon at the Department of Justice. Dante Amento tells us why.
Progressive groups such as the International League of People's Struggle submitted a petition to President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. through Justice Secretary Crispin Boyong Remulla at the Department of Justice or DOJ this Friday afternoon, December 9. They are urging the government to delist or remove Louis Halandoni from the list of designated terrorists individuals in the country.
Si Louis Halandoni is a man of peace. Matagal na po ang inalay niya ang kanyang buhay para sa usapang pangkapayapaan at hindi magkakaroon ng tunay na pangkapayapaan sa ating bansa hanggat ang mga susulong nito ay tinataguri ang terorista.
Halandoni is a peace negotiator of the National Democratic Front of the Philippines or NDFP during the peace talks at the Netherlands. But last May 25 this year, the government's Anti-Terrorism Council or ATC designated Halandoni as terrorist along with other CPP-NPA members. The group added the Philippine government should push through the peace negotiations. But if Halandoni will remain tagged as terrorist, it would affect the peace process.
kami po ay naniniwala na kailangan nating isulong ang usaping pangkapayapaan para maresolbahan ang ugat ng armadong sigalot sa ating bayan. At isa sa mga positive steps towards this ay yun pong pagtatanggal ng designasyon, lalo na si Kaluwi ay talagang aktibo doon po sa usapang pangkapayapaan.
Under the new Anti-Terrorism Act of 2020, the Anti-Terrorism Council has the power to designate individuals, group, or organization as terrorist if there is probable cause. Meanwhile, under the laws implementing rules and regulations or IRR, a delisting petition can be filed to remove somebody's name from the list. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Meanwhile, the parents of children who died allegedly after receiving doses of Dengvaxia vaccine appealed anew for justice from Secretary Crispin Remulla of the Department of Justice, or DOJ, during a press conference at the Public Attorney's Office, or PAO, on Friday, December 9. The statement was made after reports came out on Monday, December 5, quoting DOJ Undersecretary Jesse Hermogenes Andres' message saying the issue about the supposed conflict of interest in the cases involving Dengvaxia has already been settled. Andres is a former lawyer of one of the respondents in the Dengvaxia case, that is a former Department of Health or DOH Secretary and now Iloilo Congresswoman Janet Garin. Annalyn Ibonia, the leader of the Samahan ng Mga Magulang Anak ay biktima ng Dengvaxia, believes that Remulla would stick to his loyalty to justice and would help them with their request for the inhibition of Andres and the panel of state prosecutors from cases related to the Dengvaxia issue. Their group has stressed that they have lost its trust in the panel of state prosecutors, for they have not seen the appropriate concern from the panel that they have already dismissed most of the cases related to the incident. There are 157 Dengvaxia cases have been filed before the Quezon City Regional Trial Court as of November 11, 2022. 8 cases are for filing and 24 cases have already been dismissed.
The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PHIVOLCS, has announced that a magnitude 5.9 earthquake struck the waters off northern Samar on Friday afternoon, December 9. Based on the agency's initial bulletin, the tectonic quake hit 105 kilometers northeast of the municipality of Mapanas at 2:33 p.m. It has a depth of 38 kilometers and could spawn aftershocks. PHIVOLCS said it logged the following instrumental intensities: Intensity 3, Mapanas and Palapag, Northern Samar; Intensity 2, Rosario and San Roque, Northern Samar; Prieto Diaz and Bulusan, Sorsogon; Intensity 1, Legazpi City and Tabaco Albay; Mercedes and Daet, Camarines Norte; Pili, Camarines Sur; Hernani and Canavid, Eastern Samar; Hilongos, Dulag, Cananga, Abuyog; Alangalang and Baybay, Leyte. The agency added that the quake is not expected to cause damage to infrastructure. A shallow magnitude 5.3 earthquake struck off the coast of Camarines Norte on Wednesday, December 7, and was felt in parts of Luzon and Visayas.
In other news, the President of the Philippines will no longer serve as chairman of the board of directors for the Maharlika Wealth Fund that is currently being proposed in Congress. Eileen Cerudo will tell us why.
The House Committee on Appropriations panel has approved the amendments for the proposed Maharlika Wealth Fund, or MWF. Instead of the President of the Philippines, the Secretary of Finance will become the chairman heading the MWF. Aside from the chairman of the board, there will be 4 members from the private sector who will sit in the board of directors. Meanwhile, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, or BSP, said it is willing to provide funds for the Maharlika Wealth Fund. Based on the adopted amendments, 100% of the BSP dividends will be part of the MWF's initial funding. The Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation, or PAGCOR, and other government-owned gaming corporations will also provide 10% of the revenue. Meanwhile, Finance Secretary Benjamin Jokno calls on the immediate enactment of the proposed Maharlika Wealth Fund. According to the official, a sovereign wealth fund can help boost a country's economy.
We urge the immediate enactment of the bill creating the Maharlika Investments Corporation. Let us not delay economic progress. Let us not deprive our people of this opportunity for prosperity.
Lawmakers will continue to discuss the said bill and its amendments next week. Eileen Cerudo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is expected to sign the 2023 national budget when he gets back from his official trip in Europe. Let's find out some of the salient points of the national budget in this report. The two chambers of Congress ratified earlier this week the bicameral conference committee report of the 5.268 trillion peso national budget for next year. The education sector got the lion's share with 900 billion pesos. This was higher by 100 billion pesos compared to this year's allocation for education. Included are the funds for the tertiary education subsidy program and the special education program of the Department of Education. A budget was also included for the repair and rehabilitation of schools and facilities that were damaged by recent calamities. Next with the highest allocation is the infrastructure sector with 882 billion pesos spread out over various agencies. The budget for the health sector was also increased compared to this year with 416 billion pesos. Included in the allocation was the subsidy under the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation or PhilHealth with 100 billion pesos. Meanwhile, the agriculture sector was given over 178 billion pesos. Other social programs were also given additional allocations such as the fuel subsidy for public utility vehicle drivers, employment program for displaced workers, as well as other programs under the Department of Social Welfare and Development. There were also allocations made under the unprogrammed funds. This means the funding is not yet secured and will be derived from the government's excess revenue collections or loan proceeds. Those that were lodged under the unprogrammed funds include the COVID-19 vaccine procurement, portion of the compensation for health workers' benefits, additional funds for indigent senior citizens' social pension, and some foreign-funded infrastructure projects. During the interpellation for the BICAM report, Senate Minority Leader Aquilino Coco Pimentel questioned the increase in the unprogrammed funds at 219 billion pesos.
So are we having now the very first 6 trillion budget of the Republic of the Philippines?
Not quite yet. We might have to wait till next year for that, Your Honor. That we do not include it because, number one, it is not accompanied by a certification from the National Treasurer of the availability of funds, and thus it is not assured of funding.
Pimentel and Senate Deputy Minority Leader Risa Hontiveros voted against the ratified version of the budget due to restoration of confidential and intelligence funds or CIFs in the BICAM version and the deletion of its safeguard provision.
Tila naging mapurol at pudpod ang proteksyong binigay sa pondo ng bayan by granting in full all the requests for confidential and intelligence funds under the Marcos Duterte administration.
Senate Finance Committee Chairperson Sonny Angara called the budget as a budget for national recovery in a bid to revitalize the country's economy following the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And for news abroad, researchers found that continuous increase in rates of type 2 diabetes mainly relates to a person's body weight. Jane Robles details why live. Yes, Jane?
Kath, a global research study conducted by Fan Wang from China's Harbin Medical University and fellow researchers revealed that from 1990 up until 2019, the rates of type 2 diabetes have been increasing globally. The group of researchers compared 30 years worth of data, collecting them from over 200 countries and regions around the world. Data shows that from 1990 to 2019, type 2 diabetes is driven by high body mass index or BMI, followed by secondhand smoke, pollution, and diets low in fruits. In over 30 years, the disability-adjusted life years or daily rate per 100,000 population for type 2 diabetes increased from 106.34 in 1990 to 149.6 149.61 in 2019. Most common in those middle age and the elderly, this chronic disease puts those affected at risk of illnesses and health issues like heart disease, loss of vision, and mortality. According to data, early onset of type 2 diabetes is also becoming more prevalent as more people are being diagnosed with the disease before the age of 40. However, reasons for early onset diagnosis currently remains unclear. Meanwhile, diabetes continues to be a significant health issue globally, with over 537 million adults recorded to have the disease in 2021. And by 2045, it is projected to increase to 785 million. Back to you, Cass.
Thank you, Jane Robles, for that live report. Brittany Griner, a star of the Women's National Basketball Association, or WNBA, has been released from Russia after a prisoner swap with convicted Russian arms dealer Viktor Bout and has arrived in the United States after 10 months. Griner was taken into custody in February 2022 at Moscow for possession of vaping cartridges containing hashish oil, which is an illegal substance in Russia, and was sentenced to 9 years in prison after being found guilty. However, the family of Paul Whelan, the American former Marine who has been detained in Russia for the past 4 years, is still waiting for his return. Whelan was caught by Russia's domestic intelligence agency while visiting Moscow for a friend's wedding and was sentenced to 16 years in prison for espionage charges. U.S. President Joe Biden and his administration officials say that they will keep on negotiating for the safe return of Whelan and will remain in close contact with his family. We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, Harleen.
Thank you, Kath. The price of refined sugar in Metro Manila markets has been starting to decrease, but the group millers and farmers are alarmed with the high price of brown sugar. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
From more than 100 pesos per kilogram, the prevailing retail price of refined sugar now is at 95 pesos per kilogram, based on the price monitoring of the Department of Agriculture or DA. According to United Sugar Producers Federation of the Philippines or UNIFED, the recent importation helps in stabilizing the sugar price in the market. A member of Sugar Regulatory Administration Board, Pablo Ascona, said that the local production is a big factor in boosting the sugar supply.
Yung main reason po ng pagbaba is the milling season. So right now, yung stocks natin po ng refined is ahead compared to the same period last year.
But both Ascona and UNIFED questioned why the price of brown sugar is at 90 pesos per kilogram. The product with a lower grade compared with the washed and refined should have lower price. Its mill grade price is only up to 65 pesos per kilogram and it should be priced as high as 80 pesos per kilogram.
Tataka ako bakit 90 yung brown sugar. Ano ba yun? Hindi naman gold yan, local sugar yun eh.
What's alarming here is yung brown sugar is nasa 90 pesos. I think these are just market forces.
The Sugar Regulatory Administration already recommended a suggested retail price of refined sugar to 90 pesos per kilogram. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Meralco announces a power rate hike for the month of December due to the completion of distribution-related refund. JP Nunez will tell us why.
December power rate increased by 33 centavos per kilowatt hour due to the completion of distribution-related refund of Meralco.
The main driver of the upward adjustment this month is the distribution rate throughout the first completion. So this is the first of the 4 mandated distribution rate reduction which the ERC ordered us to implement.
Power rate hike would translate to additional 66 pesos per a typical household consuming 200 kilowatt-hour for a month. 99 pesos of increase for those consuming 300 kilowatt-hour, 132 pesos for those consuming 400 kilowatt-hour, and 165 pesos for those consuming 500 kilowatt-hour. According to Meralco, with the termination of their agreement with the San Miguel Global Power, which resulted to a loss of 670 megawatt supply on January next year, another power rate hike would be expected. This due to the supply of electricity they need to get from wholesale electricity spot market, which is more expensive than the previous supply under the agreement.
12% ng supply namin yung apektado ng presyuhan dito, but we will need to see what the final impact will be by next month. But ayun nga, meron na talagang mga inaasahan na upward adjustment dahil dun sa completion ng DRT1 at saka yung possible impact dahil dun sa suspension ng SMC sa napagsusupply sa Meralco.
Since the suspension happened in the middle of the month, so hindi naman full supply month agad yung affected. So it won't be that much. We don't expect it to be that much naman.
Meanwhile, Meralco consumers have their own ways to save electricity to avoid expensive electric bills. According to some of Meralco consumers, they are already having trouble on paying their monthly bills as their budget is also affected by the inflation, which is the main driver of the price increase of basic necessities.
Ay nagpapatay na nga kami ng ilaw magdamaga para matipid-tipid lang.
Dati, 24 hours siya nakabukas yung hotpot. Ang ginagawa namin, hindi namin tinatanggal yan kasi marami kami nagkakape dito. Baga mahilig kami magkape. Ngayon, kada makikita ko siya, kung kailan lang magkakape, tsaka lang tatanggalin. Ay, isasaksak. Pagdating naman sa rice cooker, imbis na dati, 4 times, nagiging 2 times lang. Isa sa tanghali, isa sa gabi. Tapos yung mga ilaw na hindi naman kailangan gamitin, pinapatay talaga namin. Ganun. Pati electric fan. Para lang, baga makales man lang.
JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
There will be sufficient budget to allot to the Special Education Program, or SPED, of the Department of Education, or DepEd. DepEd earlier admitted that there was no funding for the said program. Senator Sherwin Gatchalian said a number of his proposals were carried in the 2023 BICAM report. One is an additional 64 million pesos for the conversion of special education centers to inclusive learning centers for learners with disability. 100 billion pesos, meanwhile, will be allocated for instructional materials for learners with disabilities. The senator lauded the said improvements, saying this is good news for learners with disabilities. He also assured to provide quality education amid continued recovery of the country from COVID-19. The lawmaker also reiterated that learners with disabilities should not be left behind.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has lauded on Friday, December 9, the Olympic gold medalist Heidelin Diaz for winning 3 gold medals in the 55-kilogram division of the International Weightlifting Federation, or IWF, World Championships held in Bogota, Colombia. The chief executive expressed his gratitude that Diaz has once again showcased her skills to the world at the recent World Weightlifting Championships and for bringing honor to the country by earning the World Championship crown. Diaz has registered 93 kilograms in snatch and 114 kilograms in clean and jerk for a total of 207 kilograms. She has successfully lifted 90 kilograms and 93 kilograms in the snatch, but she failed on her third attempt to lift 96 kilograms. Meanwhile, in the clean and jerk, Diaz lifted 114 kilograms on her first try, but failed on her next 2 attempts for 117 kilograms and 121 kilograms respectively. Samahang Weightlifting ng Pilipinas President Monico Puentevilla has presented the gold medal to Diaz during the awarding ceremony. Puentevilla noted that Diaz is a phenomenal athlete and world champion, that she does anything to bring pride and inspiration to the country.
Authorities have agreed to ensure the welfare and human rights of persons deprived of liberty in jail facilities across the country. Bernadette Tinoy will tell us why.
The Commission on Human Rights, or CHR, and Bureau of Corrections, or BUCOR, signed a Memorandum of Agreement this Friday afternoon, December 9. The objective of the MOA is to ensure that the rights of every person deprived of liberty, or PDL, will be recognized and protected.
The Human Rights Officer will be the voice of the voiceless. The Bureau of Corrections will designate a Human Rights Officer in every security compound in each prison.
Under the MOA, PDLs can now ask for help regarding their basic rights such as food, medicine, and facility. Evaluation on their cases and other procedures are also included in the said measure. According to Bureau of Corrections Director General Retired Gregorio Pio Catapang Jr., personnel under BUCOR will undergo training and seminars provided by the CHR to better serve the PDLs.
This opportunity, I equally want to happen to all the personnel of BUCOR. I want them to also undergo the human rights seminar. Even if we are a poor country, we have the right to speak, right to defend ourselves, and even if we are deprived of liberty, we still have rights.
Meanwhile, Katapang ensured the public that the Bureau of Corrections and Commission on Human Rights are always ready to serve to improve the condition of every PDL. Other agencies like Philippine National Police, Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, and Armed Forces of the Philippines also practice the same training to provide the essential human rights in their jurisdiction. Bernadette Tinoy, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
After Elon Musk released a poll late last month that garnered more than 3 million votes on whether or not to offer a general amnesty to suspended accounts, 72% voted for the proposal that led to the restoration of other Twitter accounts that have been banned. Among the high-profile Twitter accounts that have been restored is former President Donald Trump's account with 87.8 million followers, Andrew Anglin, who founded the Daily Stormer website. Other accounts that have been restored include users who promoted non-fungible tokens or NFTs and cryptocurrencies, some Twitter users who tweet in languages other than English, and those who deemed to be Trump supporters. Restored Twitter account holders tweeted their thanks to Musk for allowing them back on the platform. However, such mass amnesty caused an uproar from civil rights groups. The vice president of Center for Technology and Society, Yael Eisenstadt, fears that the restoration could increase spread of disinformation. Despite reinstating accounts that had repeatedly violated the platform's terms and conditions, Musk reiterated on his tweet that Twitter is being fair and aims to serve 80% of the people. Those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I'm Kat Maraos, live from Bangkok, Thailand. Good evening.
The Board of Regents of the University of the Philippines, or UP, the country's premier state university, has selected on Friday, December 9, former Regent Angelo Jimenez as the new university president. Jimenez got the nod to become the university system's 22nd president over 5 other nominees. Incumbent Catanduanes State University President Patrick Azanza won ang Education Party List Representative Salvador Belaro, incumbent UP Diliman Chancellor Fidel Nemenzo, UP Institute of Civil Engineering Founding Director Benito Pacheco, and former UP Los Baños Chancellor Fernando Sanchez. The newly selected UP president will replace the outgoing President Danilo Concepcion, whose 6-year term is set to end on February 9 of next year, and will be joining forces with Commission on Higher Education Chairman Prospero de Vera in leading the Board of Regents as co-chairman. Jimenez served the university as a faculty regent from 2016 to 2021 and served with distinction in the Department of Labor and Employment and Overseas Workers Welfare Administration. He presented platforms including the strengthening of UP's graduate and postgraduate programs, a programmed engagement with the national government led by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., and delivering academe's digital transformation. In his Facebook post, Jimenez expressed his gratitude to the Board of Regents for giving him the opportunity to again join their ranks and serve the university. Our Kasangbahay, as the world faces these trying times amid the pandemic caused by coronavirus, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
And before we close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God. From the book of Proverbs, chapter 12, verse 5, it says, "The thoughts of the righteous are right, but the counsels of the wicked are deceit." Those are the reasons behind the news December 9, 2022. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am Harleen Delgado.
And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.